Hello, my darling Libra. Welcome to your July reading. I appreciate you tuning in. We are going to see what's on the cards for you, whether you're Libra sun, moon, rising, or you're just exploring a part of your chart where Libra is hanging out. I know we do have Libra in the South Node collectively. So that has been drawing to the surface a lot of Libra's light and shadow aspects. So we might be looking at the light aspects of diplomacy and getting along with people, finding the balance in our lives, being support systems for people. And we might be cleansing out the shadowy parts of codependency and helping build everybody else's dream and negating our own. And all of those collective themes, they're all sort of in the air, providing this really juicy narrative. And as I'm doing in the other readings, please check out the other readings for your other signs as well. Sometimes it's nice to take the parts from each that really resonate and take some notes based on the key things that you're going to look out for, that you're going to work on, that feel important for you. For those of you that do a lot of work with your guides and a lot of inner work, you may already be able to see the themes appearing. So I always say to my students, those ones that are sitting with their guides every day, doing all the work, journaling, doing all the shadow work, they're likely to see the themes coming before they come in. So it's a very intuitive psychic sense that we develop so that we can see and feel and hear things before they get to us as part of our training, but also to prepare us for that person or that new thing or that opportunity. Now, it takes a while to develop that skill. Some people may dream of someone before they show up or dream of something before it happens. That's a classic premonition. But we also just sense when doors are opening and closing in our future timelines so we can prepare. But it takes a while to figure out what is a premonition, what is a fear, what are we avoiding, what are we preparing for, and how engaged in our deepest belief systems are we? So the conversation I've been having with my guides lately is honoring all of you with the fact that we are 5D beings in a 3D world, and that in itself is very difficult. So 3 tarot cards to understand what is happening in the 3D. Tarot is very good at that. And 3 shadow cards. So this is from my own deck, Stalk Your Shadow Oracle deck. We look at the shadow aspects through the animal spirits. Just makes it a little bit more palatable through the animal spirits. And if you're working with your birth totems, your power animals, your land totems, your house totems, whatever it is, then these cards are wonderful to give you a heads up for what the shortcomings or the weaknesses are of the animal spirits. It makes it a little bit more digestible for us to understand that we all have parts that we need to heal and work on. It's not all just the courage of a lion or the ability to fly like a bird. It can actually be, well, a lion needs to know its own strength, and it also needs to understand that it doesn't have to pounce on everything. And an eagle is a strong predator and can fly around, but it doesn't mean it needs to use that for its disadvantage or for competitiveness. It's actually just survival. So we use that as a palatable form to digest the parts of us that are in dysfunction. And I found that to be really beneficial for my students. They seem to switch gears when they work with animal totems. And I've found over the many years that I've been doing it that it's somewhat of a relief from deep psychological work, but we still get that deep healing, which is great. So for you, Libra, we have first, Turkey walking by, thank you. Ace of Pentacles is a new project coming, or it's already here. You may be aware of it. Oh, that light is just so bright. Maybe that work. There's a new project. A project that's probably aligned with making money, a project that might be a new collaboration, a new idea, a new workshop, a new course, a new product, whatever it is. There's a new project knocking on the door. The universe is handing you an idea from the idea sphere and saying, would you like this? We have a couple of other factors to think about, but it still feels like the new project is worthy to be taken and pursued. Now, remember, we've got 2 Pentacles cards here. So remember, when we're dealing with Pentacles, we're dealing with Earth. When we're dealing with Earth, it is the awareness that even a new project has relevant steps and stages to get you to an outcome. This is not Ace of Wands, where we just need to fly with it. Ace of Pentacles says, do you have a plan? Have you mapped out the plan? Do you understand what kind of investments involved and what it will take for the project to come into fruition? 4 of Pentacles says, you do have the ability, the finances, the resources, everything you need to do the job. Everything's looking good if you align with all of those steps. So make a plan. Earth-based people are always about the plan and the structure, which is very important. But we need to honor what kind of feeling, sense, and intuitive sense we're going to get along the way. So it's a very earthly project that's probably going to anchor you into sustainable growth or progress or something that's very sturdy. But we're also going to acknowledge and pay attention to our feelings and our emotions and the intuitive senses coming through because of this project. So the project might open the doors to more feelings of fulfillment, to renewed joy, to more connection, to an intuitive idea that comes through, to doors opening, maybe collaborations, nourishment, emotional nourishment. And that can be the icing on the cake for a very earth process, right? So I always think Pentacles come through when we need to be we need to make very adult decisions based on, well, yeah, I would love to launch that product and I would love to build a website and I would love to do this side hustle, but what does it take to get me there? Now, for you, Libra, it's earth-based. It's not air-based. So depending on how much earth you have in your chart, if you don't have much earth in your chart, then you need to collaborate and outsource with earthy people that can see the steps to get you there and are really great at structure. You have the capacity to think well, to bring in ideas. You can think it all the way through to fruition. But if you've got a lot of air in your chart and not a lot of earth, you'll be great at thinking, but might not be great at building the structure towards it. So you got the idea, but you might need people to carry it out. There is cups here. So depending on how much water you have in your chart, the cups are saying that there is an emotional field that we need to tend to. So we need to make sure it's spiritually and emotionally nourishing for you. And we're bringing that into the mix. If it's all earth, we're probably going to get bored. If it's all water, we're not going to have any structure and emotions are going to be too high. If it's all air, it's all about ideas and talking the talk, but not actually putting everything into place. And if it's all fire, it's impulsive, but they're not going to finish the job. So not only are we doing a reading based on whatever Libra energy you're working with, we're also bringing in the other parameters. So I know from my own personal experience this year of building a team, I worked with an astrologer and a psychic reader to read my chart in respects to what elements I naturally have and what I need to outsource based on my missing links. So if you don't have any water in your chart or any air in your chart or any fire in your chart, it's a great idea to go and outsource with people or collaborate with people that have that missing element. So if you're really great at ideas, but you're not good at following them through, grab someone in for the structure. If you're really good at following things through, but you don't have enough spark or bravery to do the big ideas, then bring in an ideas person that's got more fire and air and that beautiful combination. And in that way, we can have that beautiful balance. So what you don't want to do is go out there and grab people like you. You want to grab the missing links. So whether that's from an elemental basis, which I found a really nice, refreshing, aligned way for me to build a team, but also from the basis of what's my genius, what are my skills. If I really niched out and honed in on the parts that I really like to do, what role would that be, or a few different roles? And then what is my weakness, or what is the part that I don't have capacity for, that I'm not that good at, that I find exhausting? they're the people you want to go for first. And I didn't have that knowledge when I started. I've gotten there over many setbacks, trial and error, failures, and learning curves. So I'd love to pass that wisdom on to you. If any of you are creative entrepreneurs looking to build a team, hit me up, comment below. I've got a lot to talk about. Black Cockatoo is your first shadow aspect, right? Nobody's going to come along and discover you and say that you're way talented beyond your means and put you up on a pedestal. Black Cockatoo says you got to do it for yourself. You got to believe in yourself so much that you're willing to make a product, a business, or something around what you're wanting to pursue creatively. Permission comes from you, right? So dig deep within. And the questions I asked myself was, is this message worthy of sharing? Does this solve a problem in the community or address a problem that I can authentically connect to? Does it serve humanity? Is it kind to the environment? And am I willing to go to the ends of the earth for it, right? Am I willing to pursue it? Not based on how confident I feel every day, what my mood is, whether I'm worthy and all that sort of stuff. It's, do I believe in it enough? And am I willing to be the vessel or the communicator of that idea? Because a lot of people get tripped up. I worked with a lot of artists and a lot of healers, and they go round and round in circles talking about if they're good enough. And I say, we're missing the point. The point is your message worthy of being out there to whatever degree the universe is ready for? And if it is, are you willing to get out of the way of that? Because we might have to put your face on camera. We might have to spread you across the world. We might have to get your art to millions of people. If it's worthy of creating a spark in the universe that so many people need. So if the message is that important, we need to get out of the way. And Black Cockatoo comes in to say the mission is bigger than your comfort. Like, you're not going to get out of bed and say, oh my God, I'm so ready to be this vessel of truth. No, it's bloody scary, right? We want to get out of bed and go, okay, if this message needs to find people, then I will work hard on myself to be that vessel as much as I can. There'll be some good days and some bad days. The support network will definitely help you. So if you're likely to get too emotional because there's too much water in your chart, bring in some earthly people. Bring in some people that just say, well, let's get through the day, one video, one art piece, one whatever at a time, and we'll build this thing regardless of the emotional turmoil that might be there, right? Scorpio also says, from a shadow aspect, throw your passion at something worth it. Throw your passion at solving a problem, serving humanity, taking care of the environment, making the world a better place, supporting children through something that you've been through. Like, put your passion there and not at other people not doing good enough or not standing tall in what they're doing, right? Put your gaze on the right thing and work hard to achieve that, because the message deserves to be out there. And sometimes if you're not going to do it, someone else might do it. But what are we doing anyway? Like, do we just want to pay the bills here, or do we want to do something really meaningful? Do we want to show up in big ways, or do we want to just get through day to day? And I'm not negating anyone that's in survival mode, because I get where you are. I've been there so many times, and burnout is real, but direct your passion towards your highest intentions and needs. Serve. Servitude means serve something greater than yourself, because some days you're going to feel full of yourself and some days you're going to feel just so horrible. That will change as the human experience tries to grow around you. But I think it's such a beautiful process to be in service to something bigger than yourself, to be in service to something that you care about, that you think is vitally important, and you're doing it authentically. Usually, to do it authentically, you've been through something and you don't want a bunch of people to go through the same pain. So you provide a solution that serves them or serves humanity in this way, just by bringing a conversation into the world. And that can be something as small as a product that's made ethically that helps out people that didn't have a job before, to spreading a message of hope or understanding, sharing your story, and finding that level of servitude, because that brings us a very meaningful life. It's not easy, but it brings meaning. And the one thing I hear the most is that people are born with spiritual missions. They can feel it. They incarnate, they forget for a little while, they get distracted, and then they come back and go, I can't get rid of this feeling. And I said, yeah, that's because you're here for something. But we spend all of our time going the other way, right? And then we get frustrated and bitter and we lash out at those around us. Scorpion, which is coming up on our Instagram page at the moment. So Scorpion themes are in the air. We lash out at other people when really deep inside, we're not doing what our soul calls for. The turtle says, the last little hit of shadow work, Libra, the turtle says you're going to have to be willing to do it alone if you need to. Now, I am not prizing isolation, and I'm not saying that you're an island and you need to do it all yourself, but for any big purpose, there is a time where you must sit and say to your guides, I'm willing to pursue this, even if it feels lonely sometimes, even if I don't know the way, even if I don't believe in you guys sometimes, I'm willing to swim along this path because it brings me the nourishment that I've been looking for my whole life. And I get that swimming towards a spiritual purpose and a mission will mean you have to leave all this other stuff behind. And I get that on a 3D front, to pursue such things, the resistance is real. The forces are against you. You won't be playing the status quo game. You won't be deep in the matrix, paying the bills and figuring out how to pay off your 3 mortgages or whatever. You will be pursuing something that means something to you, and a lot of people will not understand, and it will take a lot. But it will get you out of bed every morning. It will make you excited about the change you could create. And there's going to be a lot of challenges along the way. But if we get that earthly plan, we can figure out all the shadow that might be sabotaging or creating avoidance or whatever it is. We all get into that. But there's some really beautiful messages here. So believe in yourself when nobody does. And it's so beautiful if you want to create something in the world that wasn't there before, based on a genuine attempt to serve and make sure that if just one person doesn't have to go through your pain, I think that's a beautiful gift for the world. Even if it's sharing your story and saying, hey, this is what happened to me. And I've done a lot of healing and I hold that. But if you're blaming, projecting, and being negative to people in your life, you're probably very passionate, because it takes a lot of effort to do all of that. It takes a lot of effort to argue and be passionately driven and criticize and all of that. If we took that passion and put it towards something that was really meaningful and set your heart on fire, you'd be unstoppable, Libra. And be willing to go it alone, even if it's in the beginning. One day you'll build a team around it, and that's a really incredible experience. But I think I did it solo in quite a lot of loneliness for over a decade. So I decided along that journey that I didn't want anyone else to be as isolated as I was, awakening, healing, trying to be a positive message in the world. So that's why I've created the online community Patreon, so that I can make sure that nobody feels as lonely as I did through those awakening times. And that's really important to me. So whatever it is, turn it into evolutionary gold, create something meaningful, even if it's small, even if it's cleaning up the oceans or inventing recycled plastics or planting some trees, creating a product that's ethically produced that really sets something different in the world, solves a problem that you know you've been through. That's authentic creation. And I hope you speak loudly about it, because it's worth it. I love you, Libra. I'll see you next month. Bye.